Hey everyone, and welcome to At the Table, the only show that asks you to take out your books, pull up your chair, and join us at the table. And before we go into it, take a quick moment to figure out who we are. Michael, please tell them who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael Kapow, and you can find me all over the internet on my social medias, which are all at Mr. Kapow. That's MrKapao. And how about you, PJ?
My name is PJ McGaw. I'm visible everywhere at pj.mcgaw or some variation of PJ McGaw. Yeah, if you don't know who I am, I'm the guy that does the GMing for Edge of Legend Wednesdays. Of course, me and Michael Powell do this show every Tuesday, and you can see me on Secret on Fridays. More on that later. And I want to start off by saying that I know last week we couldn't really get into a character build, but don't worry. What I'm going to do is twofold process. Everyone in the chat right now, start popping your ideas out for a character. Mr. Michael Powell and I have set aside some time, so we may be going a little late today, but we will definitely, absolutely, positively hammer out one NPC that you, the chat, have created with us. So start those ideas in chat now, and at the end of the episode, we will get to those ideas. Don't worry, I got my handy-dandy notebook over there. Is that trademarked? Probably is. Without further ado, welcome to the month of Halloween. Yes, even though it only happens at the end, I think the spirit of the season, the ghost of the month, is present all throughout. And to show and reflect and enjoy with great fun and giggle excitement, we are going to be talking about all things spoopy within these wonderful Paizo books. In the first class that we're going to talk about, last week we talked about pirates and the swashbuckler. Today we're going to talk about oracles, those knowledge of the divine that get misunderstood so much.
Really quick, just also to let our audience know, you can check out the Oracle class. It's all in the Advanced Player's Guide.
That's right. This big bad boy right here from Paizo, the guys that make Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they have, I don't want to be all like pitch boy, but this is friggin' cool. Like, we talked about the swashbuckler last week. If you haven't seen that episode, go on our YouTube, just search At the Table, look for our two beautiful faces, and listen to how disgustingly overpowered and delightful the swashbuckler is, because dear God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We realized something. Yeah, the certain things in the swashbuckler class could be be broken a little bit. It's a little broken.
Yeah. The fact that at level 20 you are absolutely guaranteed to hit at least once for a butt ton of damage is it's amazing.
First of all, I also want to point out, I'm going to put the graphics up here, our new iconic for the Oracle class is a Tengu who goes by the name of Korkai. Really cool image up on the screen right now.
Yeah, I'm loving that holy symbol or that kind of eldritch arcane symbol they're drawing. Super cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Also, I want to give a big shout out, or shall I say a big boop out to Pengu-chan. I see your snoot, and I boop it. I boop your snoot.
Oh, okay. And also Sydney Hightower, who plays Alona in our games. Yep, this is my Ouija hat, which I thought was kind of perfect for this video.
Yeah, it's super cool. Also, Michael Powell, speaking of oracles, show him your awesome shirt. This guy's got such a cool shirt, too.
Little spell book with little spell creatures flying out of it.
Look how dope that is. I want that on a gym tank so that I can be, like, spoopy while I'm lifting. Also, and Lacey...
You don't only lift weights, you lift books.
Yeah, you think this is heavy? You should see my books. Big shout out to NLacey70. You always got some ideas for NPCs. I want to hear them. But before we get there, write them in the chat. We need to go into this good burb and their awesome class. So, do you want to start with the readout, or should I go over the basic features?
Yeah. Am I going through the? I'm going through the little flavor thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Your conduit to divine power eschews the traditional channels of prayer and servitude. You instead glean divine truth that extend beyond any single deity. You understand the great mysteries of the universe embodied in the overarching concepts that transcend good and evil or chaos and law, whether because you perceive the common ground across multiple deities or circumvent their power entirely. You explore one of these mysteries and draw upon its power to cast miraculous spells. But that power comes with a terrible price. A curse that grows stronger the more you draw upon it. Your abilities are a double-edged sword which you might uphold as an instrument of the divine or view it as a curse from the gods.
I love that flavor text because sometimes everyone always thinks being spoopy means being evil. Sometimes being spoopy is just doing your best and being damned for it. And that. Also, I'm going to put out two things. One, some of you may remember Oracle and Pathfinder First Edition.
Mm-hmm.
The Oracle, along with the Magus and the Swashbuckler, is one of the few entirely unique classes to Pathfinder. You're not going to find this in other tabletop RPGs. Secondly, this is going to be a little similar, but also a little different. And I would say some systems have a class like the Warlock. My question to posit as we read this, is this Oracle a unique enough to stand on its own, but also strong enough to replace the Warlock with more role-playing potential than the Warlock really has?
Perhaps. I kind of want to say the Oracle in this the Oracle class is very unique in Pathfinder itself as well, at least in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. This class, you got to be really, really careful with resource management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially managing what they talked about, your powers, because they come at a very cool cost. And we'll get to that eventually, but let me just break this first page out of the way. If you have your handy-dandy books open to page 67, there will be a quiz, another one. Your key ability is Charisma. Because you speak to, with, for, and against the gods, you're going to need that Charisma poppin' and lockin'. You have 8 hit points per level, plus Constitution modifier. So you're standing at about the same HP as a cleric. Not bad. You are trained in Perception. You are trained in Fortitude, trained in Reflex, and you are an expert in Will. So you are great for fighting off possession. Not too great at fighting off anything else. You are trained in Religion. You are trained in one or more skills determined by your mystery. Your mystery, which we'll get to later, will have that skill information. You are trained in a number of additional skills equal to 3 plus your intelligence modifier. Right at the bat, you have a chance of having a fat stack of skills. Religion, Perception, 3 plus your int. Hell, even if you have a 12 int, that's 4?
Yeah.
Plus 2, that's 6, and that's not even including what your mystery gives you. So if you want to play a cleric, but you're like, I just don't have enough skills, check this out. You are trained in simple weapons and unarmed attacks. I have a funny feeling, Michael Powell, that you're probably not going to want to do any frontline combat with this.
Not really. Well, the fact that Oracle's a full spellcaster, right?
Please take a look at
which
the
means
spell
you,
chart.
which means you got cantrips.
And thank the sweet divine for cantrips, because in this game they automatically heighten, and they can get really fun endgame. Defenses, you are trained in light armor and unarmored defense, and you are trained in your divine spell attack and your divine spell DC. So if you really, 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 really love the idea of a cleric and a sorcerer doing the fusion dance and coming out with a really fun mechanic of risk versus reward, that's just the tip of the iceberg, baby. And let's go further into these chilly waters.
All right.
The oracles. So let's see here. I think we can probably skip the ancestry background, initial proficiencies, and divine spellcasting. If you don't know already, spoilers. Oracles are divine spellcasters. See clerics for more details.
Should we go a little bit into the divine spellcasting of the Oracle a little bit?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, first of all, your mystery provides you with divine magical power. You can cast spells using the cast a spell activity, and you can supply material, somatic, and verbal components while casting your spells. Pretty much at first level, you can cast up to 2 level 1 spells per day, and as we said before, you have also access to cantrips, and etc., etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think in the past, what makes the Oracle different as far as spell casting goes is that they have been spontaneous casters, whereas clerics are half spontaneous.
Hmm.
Meaning in the past, you have to prep every spell at the exact level, at the exact slot that you're going to use it,
Yeah.
with two exceptions. Usually the exceptions being you get cure wounds, because of course you do,
Hmm.
and maybe you get one or two other spells that you learn because of your domain or something. But oracles are all spontaneous all the time because the divine power is flowing through them, around them constantly. So they have more of a wild tap. And that's with
Yeah.
first edition. I haven't seen any language to suggest that's the case here. However, I don't know a lot of GMs that are super strict and stingy on the spell slot maintenance. So it may be kind of an irrelevant thing, which I'm okay getting rid of. I hate that rule,
Hmm.
but that's just me. Without further ado, mysteries, the big crux of this class. Do you want to start us off, Michael, or should I?
You start off.
All right. Mysteries. An oracle wields divine power, but not from a single divine being. This power could come from a potent concept or idea, the attention of multiple divine entities whose areas of concern all touch on that subject, or a direct and dangerous conduit to raw divine power. This is the oracle's mystery, a source of divine magic not beholden to any one deity. Choose the mystery that empowers your magic. Your mystery grants you the special spells called revelation spells, and might later grant you divine domain spells. It dictates the effects of your oracular curse. That's going to come up a lot. We're going to butcher it every time.
Yeah.
Join us in ruining this word. Uh, your mystery grants you special skills called revelations, blah, blah, blah. It dictates the effects of your oracular curse, adds an additional cantrip, more cantrips, more fun, uh, and gives you one or more trained skills. More skills, more RP. Drawing insight and power from the collective divine influences that fuel your magic also provides you with special benefits. So this is this is a different flavor, but a similar execution to a sorcerer's bloodline. So when you're building your oracle, you're now having this amazing opportunity to really fluff out their life, their character, their background, and also really focus on the mechanics here, because I guarantee you the choice you make will echo for eternity, but also in your character build.
I also want to point out that I kind of feel that the mysteries are a combination of, as you said, the sorcerer bloodline, but also kind of the benefits of your deity from the cleric.
Yes, that's a very good point. Michael, say it one more time.
Oh, I said this is a combination of the sorcerer bloodline and also the deity that your cleric gets their abilities from.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge because, as we said here, there's a lot of leeway with the oracle. Like with the cleric, it's like your god is this one god. Your idea is this one idea. You are the soul and body encompassing aspect of blank. But with the oracle, you are fluff wise and mechanic wise so open to interpretation. So when you're playing this character, you really have to kind of be ready to role play this entity that is cosmically wise,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much more going on with an oracle than there is with a cleric. Not that they're limited, there's just more. Without further ado, let's go over the
Yeah,
mysteries.
I was gonna say, should I start us off?
Yes, please do.
All right. The first one is ancestors. The voice of generations past speak to you and and you hear their words. You might resent the constant interruptions, or you might revere the spirits of those who came before. Perhaps you hail from a culture with strong ancestral traditions, or a group that reveres uh, like a long forgotten deity, long forgotten. Your basically it's ancestor spirits.
Yeah.
It's ancestor spirits. Let's see what else. You learn from their whispers and fragments of their memories, but opening your mind to their knowledge and experience also allows them to muddle in your worldly affairs. Do you know what that kind of sounds like to me? It's like when you're in the bathroom, but you own a cat and they're scratching at the door. You're like, "Leave me alone! I'm doing business here."
And the cat's just going like, no, no one
Yeah,
poops alone.
yeah,
Learn that
yeah,
lesson. No one poops alone.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah,
yeah, if there's anything you could take away from me, it's no one poops alone.
yeah, the mystery benefit is the whispers of your ancestors have bestowed additional knowledge upon you. You gain additional ancestry feats at first level and another additional ancestry feat at 11th level. These feats can't be the ones that grant psychological,
Physio, yeah.
physiological effects such as additional senses or unarmed attacks. The trained skills that you get from this mystery is society. Granted cantrip is guidance. Revelation spells are, let's see, the initial ones are ancestral touch, the advanced ancestral defense, and greater ancestral form. And related domains are death and family.
So and I apologize if this is insensitive or flippant or in any way, but I can also see this being an amazing build for someone that kind of hails from Shin, or someone that comes from more of the eastern areas where, you know, the spirit of your ancestors never really leaves you. They just serve to embody, or I'm sorry, embolden the family. You know, kind of like in Mulan, when all of her ancestors are pushing her and trying to embolden her to do the right thing. You know,
Or from Marvel's Black Panther.
yes, that's a great. I mean, the entire plains, the heaven of the Black
Yeah.
Panthers. Like, there's also Michael. I wonder if you remember this deep cut, because I had to find out about it through a dumb survey. There was an Irish American Marvel character named Shamrock or Blarney
Yes.
Stone or something
Yes.
like that. Yes. Oh, that was.
I had the comic about her too.
Yes, and like all the Irish like
Yeah.
ancestors are trying to give her superpowers to fight the evil. Like, this could be a really great variant on that. You're right, crack.
True. True. I would love to see us in Legend go into the ancestral stuff when it relates to Shin,
Mm-hmm.
because it a lot of it kind of goes into my character. I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna leave a lot of it to a mystery, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a
And
reason why Rufa goes, "May your ancestors leave their blessing with you" and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely want to touch on that, but there's a few things we need to get to, not only with this build, but with the show.
Sydney in chat saying, "So in my D&D game, I play an ancestral barbarian. I would totally bring her into this world and multi-class just to take this mystery."
I would love to see an Oracle Barbarian build because also I believe there are Spirit Barbarians. Yeah, in fact, on Edge of Legends, Sam Sanchez plays a Spirit Barbarian. So you could really have a beautiful combination of Oracle and Spirit Barbarian. So Sydney, let me know if you want to do that one-shot character. We'll make it happen.
I'm gonna go into the curse of ancestral meddling now, aka cat outside the bathroom.
No one poops alone.
The ancestral spirits you commune with haunt you and meddle with your belongings and actions. Yeah, that's basically a cat.
Yep.
Either out of well-intentioned but ultimately detrimental attempt to assist you as punishment for your audacity in circumventing the traditional means of achieving divine power for their own amusement, or a mixture of the above. Your hair, clothing, and belongings constantly shift and stir, seemingly of their own violation. The first minor curse is one of your ancestors become predominant in their meddling. The first time you gain this effect each day, roll 1d4 on the table that's in the book. Ancestral influences determine which type of ancestor becomes predominant. This ancestor guides you to use their preferred type of action when you try to use one of the types of actions listed for the other ancestors. You must succeed at a DC 4 flat check. Okay, that's not bad.
That's not too bad, yeah.
On a failure, you spend the action but gain no effect, although you don't lose a spell as if you were casting the spell. If your action would take 1 minute or longer, it's long enough that you can overcome this meddling, and you don't need to attempt a flat check. You know what this kind of sounds like to me? Say you're Spider-Man. You basically have Uncle Ben there bugging you the entire time.
Oh, Is that? Please tell me that's a story arc, because I know there was one where he accidentally goes to a different dimension and meets Uncle Ben in a dimension where Uncle Ben never died. But
Yeah.
I would just love to see a story arc where the ghost of Uncle Ben is a familiar mentor, even beyond death, to Peter, because that sounds like a great storyline.
Yeah. Anyway,
Um,
during combat or other tense, uh, oh,
round by round
yeah,
encounters.
round by round encounter, other ancestors wrestle for control of your actions. So it's not just Uncle Ben; it's your entire Parker family.
Oh, is Aunt May dead finally? Because
No,
she
no,
needs
no.
to
I think
die.
she's still around. I think she's still around.
Joe Casada, damn it, kill her off already. It
I
is
think I.
dumb that.
Yeah.
Ah,
No, wait, she might be dead. She married Jama Jameson's dad.
see,
So Parker's now
uh,
related to J. Jonah Jameson in the
I didn't know how
comics.
I didn't know how I liked the taste of that in my mouth. Like it was already kind of dicey when she married Doctor Octopus. That was a bad story arc. Anyway, focusing
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the Oracle.
When you roll initiative, and at the end of each of your turns during the encounter, you roll 1d4 and change your predominant ancestor appropriately. Once the encounter ends, you return to the influence of the ancestor you first rolled for the day. Okay.
Yeah.
For
So no, no, okay, continue,
the
please.
moderate curse, the flat DC check to use other actions is 6, and you get the moderate curse benefit listed for your ancestor in the table that's in the book. And then for
Hmm.
the major curse, the DC check becomes 8, and you get the major curse benefit listed in the book. Really quick, the let's see.
I have the table up if you
Oh,
want me to describe what
yeah,
those
yeah,
are.
sure.
Sure,
Go
sure.
ahead.
So when you roll that 1d4, you have four options. There's three types of spirits and one basically choose whichever spirit you want. So you have martial, skillful, and the spellcasting ancestral spirit. The martial, of course, prefers you to fight. Of course they do. The skillful ancestor prefers you to use perception and skill-based actions. So they're going to be basically helping you with skill checks. The spellcasting ancestor, take a wild guess what they want you to do. They want you to
Yeah,
cast a spell. And of course, the benefits that it lists in the minor one, those actions will receive those benefits. Now, the moderate curse benefit, your martial strikes get a +1 status bonus to attack and 2 to damage. That's not bad. However, unless you're multi-classing into barbarian, Sydney, I don't know why you'd want this for this class. Skillful. I mean, who knows? Maybe over defeat and it makes you this absolute monster. But anyway, skillful. You get a +1 bonus to skill checks and perception checks. Not bad. You have guidance. I'm sure it'll stack. Spellcasting. Non-cantrip spells, so level 1 to 10. Non-cantrip spells without a duration gain a status bonus to their damage and healing equal to the spell's level. That is actually, that's what we're here for right now. That is, so if the spell is a level 9 spell that does damage instantaneously, on top of all the other fat stacks of benefits, I now get a free +9.
that's good.
Uh,
That's good.
yeah.
That's really good.
Major curse benefit. Your strikes get a +1 stat bonus. Okay, the major curse for martial is actually pretty good. +1 to hit. Man.
Mm,
+6 to damage.
yeah.
That's pretty nice. Now, granted, I'm still on the fence about this because, like, if you multi-class Oracle Barbarian, you're going to have a really awesome spiritual warrior. You know, spiritual warrior of, like, the nature spirits and ancestral spirits. But I don't see how this is going to really be effective for a character who can, at best, wield, like, a table leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a +2 stat bonus to skill checks and perception checks. +2s. Not great, not bad. It's better than most buffs, and they still stack with other buffs. So keep that in mind. Spellcasting. Non-cantrip spells with the duration gain stat bonus to their damage and so now when you cast a non-cantrip spell that hurts or heals immediately without a duration, it's spell level +3, which means a 9-level spell is doing +12 damage.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. I love
And
that.
also, if you rolled a 4, you can choose whichever ancestors guides your actions.
Exactly. So if you're like, all spell casting all the time, I've built this oracle to be a holy wizard. Dope. go for spellcasting. But if you're like, I kind of want to mix the two, get in there and hit someone, go martial.
If you're a ancestral oracle, you're a family reunion 24/7, and roll a 4. Like, you know what, Uncle Bob, come over here, help me, punch this guy in the nose.
And Uncle Bob, oh my God, I have a hilarious and terrible idea for an NPC. Oracle the family, domain of the rednecks. It is a family barbecue 24/7, and you summon the spirits of like Aunt Kathy Lynn and Uncle Bobby Joe Bob and when you're like
my God.
Uncle Bob and Joe Bob.
You could have like a caravan wagon that could be your trailer.
Yes, as I'm saying, this is like really and like you could open the door to your trailer and be like, I think you are great, but big Pappy Duke Dougal don't like you none. Who is he talking to? Some ghost. I don't know.
Sydney saying, so they're from Asher, right?
They're from, yeah. But hey, you know what? If they're not from Fort Raggedy, then maybe they're kinder to people that haven't been trying to kill them for years. But there's some good spots in Asher. There's some good spot in Gots, and hopefully we'll cover those someday. Speaking of which, can I cover battle?
Go ahead.
And now, if you like Ancestor, but you want more punching, you might like battle. You are no stranger. Screwed up at the gate. You are no stranger to the trappings of warfare. You are trained in medium and heavy armor. At 13th level, you gain the light armor expertise class feature. You also gain expert proficiency in these armors. Choose one weapon group that embodies your mystery. You are trained in all martial weapons of that group. At 11th level, if you gain the weapon expertise class feature, you also gain expert proficiency for martial weapons of your chosen group, and you become trained in advanced weapons of that group then. You are trained in athletics, you learn the cantrip shield, you get the revelation spells Call to Arms, Battlefield Persistence, and Heroic Feats. And your related domains are Might and Zeal. So remember how I said the ancestral buffs to damage are kind of like, they're cool, but why? So you can't combine mysteries. However, what the battle mystery does is it lets you be that fighter oracle. You can wear heavy armor and you're just as proficient as you would be for light armor. You can choose like clubs or swords or axes, whatever the group is, and now you're basically a war cleric.
Yeah.
But where the war cleric loses access to the amount of spells that a cloister cleric gets, you don't lose any here. In fact, if you look into the domains of Might and Zeal, there's some insane damage buffs in those domains. So you could potentially be a pretty squishy frontline healer fighter.
I would say midline.
Midline, maybe. I think it depends. Well, let's see what the feats tell us later. But right now, I think battle might not be too bad for the front. Curse of the Hero's Burden. Okay, first of all, I love that language, but let's continue. You thrive while adrenaline flows and your life depends on your might alone. But holding the collective battle prowess of the ages within you leaves your body weakened after a fight. You smell faintly of steel and blood no matter how you try to remove or mask the scent. You appear more muscular than you actually are, and you hear the faint clash and clamor of battle in the distance at all times. So I think I'm going to have to make this character, is what I'm saying. Minor curse. Your body languishes when you aren't bringing harm to your foes. You take a -2 status penalty to AC and saving throws, but each time you make a strike, you can suspend these penalties until the start of your next turn. So this is dicey because this is just a negative. It is a constant debuff. But what's fun about this, though, and you really have to accept this going in, is that you are going to be playing to the detriment of this curse. You have to sign up for that suck for the good. And we're going to get that in the moderate curse.
Can I just say this really quick? I could definitely see Morel as a battle oracle.
Ooh, absolutely. Yeah, with his history and his personality. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I'm going to see him in the front line. Like, though I am damned and cursed to carry the mantle of my people, I carry with pride their spirit. and just the warriors of 10,000 years of Akkadian heroes flowing through him.
You see Uncle Gary, Aunt Sheila, Cousin Larry.
Look, there's like 30 Larrys in Akkadian war. No, there's no Larrys in Akkadian war history. The moderate curse, though. So you suffer -2 to your stuff until you hit something. But what do you get as a moderate curse? The strain of conflict wears upon your body even though you gain vitality from it. Making a strike reduces the penalty of your minor curse to a -1 rather than suspending it entirely. However, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls. You also gain fast healing equal to half your level while in a non-trivial combat encounter. Okay, so if you're in a very serious fight, you're taking a -1 to hit, +2 to damage on top of other buffs, and you have fast healing. Let's see, let's just say you're level 10. Fast healing 5 every round that you're in a serious fight. You become a shitty Wolverine. That's not bad. Oh, man. Okay, now the major curse. This is where it gets really fun. Level 11.
Where it gets crunchy.
Oh, yeah. Your body proves capable of truly heroic feats, but doing so interferes with your mental focus. Your moderate curse's fast healing is equal to your level, and its bonus damage is +6. You gain a +1 status bonus to weapon and unarmed attack rolls, but you're stupefied too. Okay, so I think we mentioned in last episode that stupefied is a debuff for magic casters. So this is really the moment where your dedication to being a battle oracle pays off. You're now swinging blow for blow, maybe slightly less on par than a fighter, certainly less on par than a raging barbarian. However, if you don't multiclass with ancestry, you can certainly multiclass with battle and stack damage on damage on damage.
Can I also say this especially this mystery is what I said when you got to be really, really careful with resource management. The minor curse is actually the worst of the two curses, but you kind of want to stay around the middle at moderate curse level if you can, and then go maybe Nova with major curse, and then go back down to moderate curse.
Yeah, absolutely. Really fast. Maynard for the win. Great seeing you in the chat, putting that in the chat in words. Great seeing you as always, and I hope N Lacey's still there because it's awesome seeing you in the chat. N Lacey 70. I want to give you a shout out earlier. Don't know if I did, but there you go. Yeah, no, I agree. The minor curse is the flavor and the thing you're going to have to sign up for being sucky. But once you get to your moderate and major curse, that's where the payoff comes in. Mm-hmm. That's the risk versus reward factor of this mystery, is that if you can wait, if you can live long enough and wait, you're going to get some nice perks for a non-combat focused class. I'm sorry, a non-melee combat focused class. So next up, we got Bones.
Yep.
Want to get the Bones?
Yep, sure. And this is not the Bones that was on Fox. Just saying.
No, this wasn't 13 plus seasons of people who hated each other.
Yeah.
This is
a different kind of Bones. But anyway, Bones. Your mystery imparts an understanding of death and undeath in all their macabre complexity. You might have had a brush with death yourself, maybe even dying and returning to life, or carry the touch of undeath in your blood. If you commune with deities, you might speak with the guardians of death, or a bringer of death, like a horseman or, Carrion from the Greek mythology. Anyway, the mystery benefit for Bones is you could cleverly leverage the subtleties of life and death to your benefit. Each day during your preparations, you can choose to align yourself in positive or negative energy so as to gain negative healing. Which means you are harmed by positive damage and healed by negative effects as if you were undead. That's actually really cool, especially if you go necro.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
If you already have negative healing, instead the DC of your recovery check is equal to 9 plus your current dying value. You're trained in medicine, your granted cantrip is Chill Touch, your revolution spells revelation spells are Initial, Soul Siphon, Advance, Armor of Bones, Greater, Claim Undead, and your related domains are Death and Undeath. And let's see, your curse is called the Curse of Living Death. Someone's been watching a lot of Night of the Living Dead. Just saying,
Hey,
putting that out there.
This is great for Halloween. If you want to
Yeah.
play a very spoopy Necro Oracle, get them bones.
Yep. Anyway, the Curse of Living Death is your body is slowly decaying even though you are alive. Using your powers furthers this unnatural living death. You carry a touch of the grave with you, manifesting in a bloodless pallor, a faint smell of earth, or deathly cold skin. Your minor curse is bones protrude from your skin and your flesh rots, combining with a stench of decay and an unearthly chill. Non-magical effects that would restore your hit points only grant you half as many HP as normal.
So that sucks. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It's kind of cool,
I
but
don't
it
know.
kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to go into this class knowing that you are going to be there to role play the crappy parts, and then get the benefits somewhere later. It's a
Yeah,
huge risk versus
but
reward.
honestly, that minor curse doesn't really matter much if you have negative healing. I think.
I think it's definitely something you can play to work around that.
Yeah, just keep casting Chill Touch on yourself.
True. Yeah, Maynard for the Woods asking, why would you want this? Great question. This is kind of the thing about the Oracle. You start off with a really heavy hand dealt against you, and then down the road, you get some amazing buffs that also alter the curse.
Yeah.
Kind of like we were talking about the battle cleric, the battle Oracle. You always have a -2 to hit until you hit them, and then it goes away. But down the road, eventually, the negative is -1 no matter if you hit or miss, but you get +6 to damage, +1 to hit, and your level is fast healing. So if you can make it to level 11, it's bomb ass diggity do. But
Yeah.
until then, you got to sign up for that rough start.
Your moderate curse here is your dead flesh continues to rot, affecting your health. You become drained 1, and this drain condition is circumstantive with any other drain conditions you gain. The drain condition is removed only when you refocus. Effects that would normally remove the drain condition reduces your drain condition to drain 1 instead. In addition, you gain resistance to poison equal to half your level. You gain a +4 status bonus to saves against disease, poison, and death effects. And if you roll a success on such a save, you get a critical success instead.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. So you get drained 1, and anytime someone gives you a drained effect, it accumulates. So you're constantly being drained. You constantly have a debuff on that I believe like debuffs your stats and takes away your health. So it
Yeah.
sucks. But the benefit, and the but does not make it great. The benefit is that you get a +4 for saves on very specific things, and you take half damage from poison, or at least damage equal to half your level. And unless you, this so far screams to me that this is really only suited for a hyper-specific campaign
Yeah.
and a hyper-specific build. I'm very on the fence about
Yeah,
this.
honestly, the benefits aren't that great here if you take bones. But anyway, let's check out major curse. You stand in just steps from the grave. You become wounded 1. The wounded condition is removed when you refocus. Effects that normally remove the wounded condition reduce your wounded condition to wounded 1 instead. When you attempt a recovery check, you could choose to get an automatic success instead of rolling. And if you roll a critical failure on a save against disease, poison, or death, you get a failure instead.
All right. I love you, Paizo. I will still always love you for what you did to Magus and Swashbuckler because they are beautiful and gorgeous. This is awful.
Yeah.
This plain sucks.
Yep.
Wounded 1. For those of you that don't know what Wounded 1 translates into, the status effect of Wounded 1 means your dying status goes up by a level equal to your wounded status. The idea about wounded is that if you constantly boomerang between life and death, wounded makes you easier to die, so you're not just constantly going back and forth. So if you're always wounded 1, that means you're always at dying 2. which means you're 2 turns away from dying permanently, as opposed to 4 that everyone else is, or 3 to 4 as everyone else is.
It's not
Sorry,
good.
Michael.
It's not good.
Yeah, and then what? Okay, so let's balance the risk versus the reward. So I apologize for stepping on your toes. I'm just
That's
pissed at
okay.
this.
It's okay.
So let's weigh this. So you're constantly wounded 1, which means you're constantly at dying 2. The first time you're knocked down to death, by the way. And then if you're healed or recovered or whatever by your local cleric or even by another oracle, you're now at wounded 2 out the gate, which means if you're knocked back down to dying, that puts you at dying 3 out of 4 if it's already been a round or 2. Otherwise, you straight out die. So that being said, what's the payoff? The payoff here is when you attempt a recovery check from death, you can choose to get an automatic success instead of rolling, which does not matter if you're at dying 4. You're automatically dead anyway.
Honestly, with bones, I can only see taking it for the flavor.
Yeah. Malice puts a good point up. That's what Die Hard is for, and I agree. That gives you the dying 5 stage before you die. But again, you have this issue, Malice, where you're juggling your wounded stat constantly affecting your dying stat, so it maybe gives you 1 more death before you're permanently dead, automatically. I agree with you, Die Hard helps this problem, but it certainly doesn't solve it in any way. So yeah, I think Michael makes a good point, and Maynard makes a good point. This is hardcore mode. If you're playing Diablo and you want all the stakes, bones. Take bones, because I hate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it.
But I think the next one is going to be a lot better.
This could be fun. Cosmos. Your body is as much an astronomical one as it is a physical one. You gain resistance equal to 2 plus half your level against all physical damage. That's great out the gate. Okay, Cosmos is good so far. You're trained in nature skills. You get the Dancing Lights cantrip. Your revelation spells are Spray of Stars, Interstellar Void, and Moonlight Bridge. Your related domains are the Darkness and the Moon. It's been a while since I've looked into those domains, but there should be some pretty fun, spoopy stuff there too. Some of the gods that they recommend, these are awesome. Desna, Sarenrae, the deific lovers Shizuru and Tsukio represent the sun and the moon. Or you might draw power from dark entities from beyond the stars, like the outer gods.
What would you say would be some good ones to choose from Edge of Legend?
That's a very, very good question. So I can see a lot of, if you're going from the Astrogenicon that we have, that pantheon, you have Sha, the god of dreams, who is constantly sleeping. If you want to go super spoopy for the holidays, you could go Kamba, the god of nightmares, murder, and insanity. You can go with any of the demons, or the Devil Lords, I should say. The Devil Lords would be very fun for this. Hamasa, the true neutral goddess of death and respite. Although you could probably lean more to the bones for that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of any other gods that would fit this role. You could also just worship the Astrogenicon itself. Book of Cosmic Knowledge of all of that pantheon distilled into the writings to help people understand it without going insane. So yeah, being an oracle, you're not really tied down to one idea. You can be. But you can also just be embracing different gods and entities at one time that embody this idea and kind of have this giant connection of them.
Let's check out the curse. What's the curse?
So, the curse of the sky's call. The minor curse, we'll merely do the flavor because this is actually kind of important. You have your head in the clouds, and not just figuratively. Your body is drawn towards the heavens, making you lighter and less substantial than you should be. Your eyes glow with a starry light, and your hair and clothing float and drift about you. Minor curse, your natural lightness makes it hard to keep your footing and interact with physical objects. You are enfeebled 1, and take a -2 penalty to saves and DCs against grapples, shoves, and other forms of forced movement. So you're weaker physically, and you're easier to push around physically because you're literally not meant to be here. You're kind of this floaty thing. The moderate curse, your body is drawn further skyward. You're now enfeebled 2, and the penalty for your minor curse is increased to -3. You are treated as one size smaller for wind effects. Man, they keep stacking up these penalties on this one. You gain a +2 status bonus against trip attacks. You only take half as much damage from falls.
I know a certain elf that wouldn't mind that.
Oh yeah. And you gain the effects of the powerful leap and quick jump skill feats. You weigh only half as much for your bulk should someone need to carry you. You're also half as much.
You're basically a balloon.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I have mixed feelings about this. The perks really, unless you want to play a character who benefits from being weightless, that requires a lot of creativity. Mechanically, though, I don't see perks. But moving right along. Major curse. As your body rises, you float just above the ground beneath you. You become enfeebled 4.
Oh.
And the penalty for your minor curse increases to -4. You can walk on liquids as if they were solid. You gain the effects of the cloud jump skill feat, and you don't leave tracks, trigger weight-sensitive pressure plates, or otherwise connect with the ground below you. So
you're basically levitating the entire time.
Yeah, you're basically always afloat, which is a cool mechanic because, again, you don't activate traps, you don't fall into, like, lava pits, you don't drown. But then there's so much actual hardcore mechanical benefits against you. Like, everything about this is argument versus implementation. Like, yes, I could argue that cloud jump could help you here. I could argue that since you can walk on water, you can walk on lava and not die or whatever. You could argue all these things, but at the end of the day, you cannot overcome the fact that you're always enfeebled 4, which gives you, I think, penalties to hit, damage, and a bunch of other abilities at -4. And then you are -4 to defending yourself against such physical movements. It's insane.
But I also want to point out, you're a spellcaster class. You're not going to be up in the front, trading blows. You're going to be in the back slinging spells.
Very true. But is being in the back row, slinging spells, and hovering a few inches off the ground worth the horrendous reality when a brute gets his hands on you?
I just want to say, it's basically what, Maynard is saying. Maynard posted in chat. This is basically, but at what cost the class?
You are entirely right. This class is really, really fun and cool, but it does come with the risk versus the reward.
Yeah.
Having the ancestor and the battle so far is probably the one where the risk and reward is a decent balance. Bones is not.
It's horrible.
I love
Bones
Malice's
is
suggestion.
horrible.
It's bad. It's so bad. Malice made a very good point. Die Hard will be a band-aid, but it will not cure the disease of bones. Yeah. Cosmos is like the what for the why. These things do not. I don't get
basically,
it.
If you want this class, if you want to have levitation, basically cast on you 24/7.
Yeah, this is a big role play mystery. This is where your creative thinking and having fun with the fact that you're constantly a floating balloon. There's really fun storytelling and role play with this, but God forbid you actually get into a fight, the benefits don't really stack up with the negatives.
Anyway, let's move on to flames.
So I think flames is going to be fun for casters.
Fire lives at the center of the world, the center of the sun, and the center of civilization. You might revere this elemental force, siphon power from the elemental plane of fire, or have a collection of fire-based deities. That's not bad. The mystery benefit for this is, like fire itself, you flicker and dance, avoiding effects that would quench your vitality. You gain the expert proficiency in reflex saves. Ooh, that is good.
That's really good, yeah.
At 13th level, you gain the Lightning Reflex class feature. Your proficiency ranks for reflex saves increase to Master, and when you roll a success on a reflex save, you get a critical success instead. That's really good.
Yeah, so basically you get all the benefits of being a rogue, but as a caster. That's damn good.
Trained skill is Acrobatics. Granted cantrip is Produce Flame. Good spell. Revelation spells are Initial, Incendiary Aura, Advanced Whirling Flames, and Greater Flaming Fusillade.
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 So basically, you become Johnny the Human Torch, like
Yeah.
endgame Human Torch level stuff. It's actually really powerful.
Related domains are the fire and sun.
And those have awesome domain powers, which if you get focus spells that let you tap into them, do so. You're going to get some really cool AoE spells, some really cool buffs. You're going to get some lame, like, everyone can see.
Yeah.
But then it's just...
I mean, so far, it's a lot better than Cosmos and Bones.
Oh, God, yes.
Anyway, the Curse of Engulfing Flames. You see flames and smoke wherever you go. These flames might be imagined, or they might be a preternatural glimpse into the metaphorical fires that empower the entire multiverse. But you always see them. Fire flares noticeably, although not dangerously, in your presence. You occasionally smoke slightly, and your body's almost painfully hot to the touch.
I love this flavor, by the way. This is like some fun passive RP that you get to choose and that you get to have agency over. And I also, just sorry to step on your toes, this is so awesome. You see the fires that power the multiverse. How cool.
Basically,
How
you see everything burning. You get pyrovision.
I just love the idea that, like, I see the forge that churns the stars, that builds the space that we call this cold, frigid home.
Anyway, the minor curse is the smoke, heat, and crackling flames of your curse fill your vision and all other senses. Creatures further than 30 feet are concealed from you. You can't benefit from other effects that would allow you to ignore or mitigate this concealment as normal for effects of a ocular curse. Oracular curse. Oracular. Yeah, we're going to be butchering this word in this entire video.
Yes, please, everyone in the chat, join us in butchering the word oracular.
I'm just gonna replace that word, unless it's an actual ability, with the word oracle from now on. Oracle curse.
I believe there are a few abilities with the word oracular in it, so let's keep butchering this, shall we?
Yeah, but anyway, moderate curse. Smoke and flickering visions of flame fill your senses more completely, and harmless flickers of obscuring flames also fill your space. You are concealed from other creatures. Though as other creatures aren't cursed themselves, they can benefit from effects that would allow them to ignore or mitigate the concealed condition as normal. All other creatures and objects are concealed from you regardless of distance. However, when casting a fire spell, you automatically succeed at the flat check for this concealed condition for targets within 30 feet. All your senses become imprecise beyond 30 feet, meaning anything past 30 feet that you would normally be able to see is hidden from you. It's like a reverse version of dark vision. The reverse dark vision.
It's weird because it takes away your range of vision and it takes away your ability to hit things. No, it doesn't take it away. It nerfs it. It nerfs your ability to see. It nerfs your ability to hit. However, it does give you an automatic success to hit people who are concealed.
With fire spells.
With fire-based spells, which I'm just judging from the fact that this is the mystery of flames. You're going to want to shoot a lot of fire.
Yeah.
So it's weird because, like, it makes it hard for you to see or hit anyone, but then it also makes it hard for anyone to hide from you. Beyond 30, like, up to 30 feet. After that, you're screwed. But, like, it's weird. I don't know how I feel about it.
Honestly, you can also work with your group, I think. Like, okay, point me in the direction. Cone of whatever.
Yeah, I don't have to see for an AoE.
Yep.
Man.
Major curse. The flames surrounding you are no longer simply visions. An aura of fire surrounds you in a 10-foot emulation, dealing 4d6 fire damage. Basic reflex save to all creatures in the aura at the end of each of your turn. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but it gets worse.
Yeah. You lose 1d6 hit points at the end of each round with no save. If you have a weakness to fire, increase the number of HP you lose by that weakness. You can suppress this aura until the start of your next turn by spending a single action, which has the concentrate trait to diminish the flames, causing neither you or anyone in the aura to take damage, while refocusing to reduce your curse. You are continually diminishing the flames so you don't lose HP. The flames subside if you fall unconscious, but they resume when you wake up unless you are rested long enough to reset your curse. As usual for Oracle curses, you can't mitigate or reduce the lost hit points in any way, though you can still heal the lost HP normally after the fact.
I I wanted to love this so much, and now I'm really paranoid about it. So, first of all, I love auras. Auras are so cool because they are a constant area of effect
Yeah.
that are intrinsic to your being. They're so cool, both mechanically and fluff wise. And the fact that you have a free ongoing 4d6 fire damage AoE at 11th level is awesome because you can still take 3 actions doing whatever the heck you want. But the problem is friendly fire is turned off, which means you will kill your teammates if you're within 10 feet of them, which, spoilers, that's a 20-foot diameter.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really hard to get close to your teammates. Also, no matter if you hurt anyone or not, you're constantly taking 1d6 fire damage. Now, 1d6 at 11th level, probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
But that's on top of any damage you suffer from anyone else that, you know, and if you have a weakness to fire for whatever reason, let's say you're fighting a smart GM and the GM puts some sort of magic caster and the magic caster just casts weakness to fire. He's purposely flipped you the bird, and that's something you're going to have to deal with. And then you have to spend, I mean, the flavor is cool. If you ever watch the Venture Bros, rest in peace, Venture Brothers, you were too good for us. It's like their version of Johnny the Human Torch, who is actually being burned by the fire he can't control in his body. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's great. It's great.
It's a trade-off. Yeah, it's one of those trade-offs.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they call it a curse, it's definitely a curse. But anyway, let's move on to life.
Yeah. Hopefully this one is a bit more better risk versus reward. Also, looking at the chat, I'm seeing you, Maynard and Malice, and I think you're right, Malice. I have a feeling the feats will probably make it a little better. And Maynard, you're right. Right now, as it stands, a lot of these are great roleplay wise and great flavor wise, but they do kind of stress some problems mechanically. And G Sisinski 32. I think this is my first time seeing in the chat. Awesome to see you, man. Oh wait, actually I think that's a bot. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I trusted you, G Sisinski. I trusted you.
Don't worry. I've taken care of it.
Well, hey, at least we're getting someone's attention. The bots are after us. So, life. I guess I'm doing life?
Yep, you're doing life.
We're going life.
Life.
The never-ending flow of positive energy within living beings is palpable to you. You might uphold the sanctity of life, or perhaps you seek to undermine it. You might draw power from the collective vitality of the world's living creatures, hold some connection to the positive energy plane, or revered collection of deities including Aurori, Pharasma, Serenray, or the god of medicine, Qizong. And I don't know why I did that with an English accent. Just go with me. Mystery benefit. Your body is deep. No, I'm gonna drop it. Your body is a deep reservoir of life energy. At each level, you gain hit points equal to 10, plus your Constitution modifier instead of 8. Not bad.
Yeah.
You're trained in medicine. You have stabilized as a cantrip. Your spells are, of course, initial, advanced, and greater, lifelink, delay affliction, and life-giving form. Your related domains are death and healing. Right at the gate, don't have to look at the curses. I can tell you this is the super healing build. If Flames is meant to be kind of this weird fire class and Cosmos and Bones or the whatever, you know, this one's definitely based on healing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This one is this type of oracle. I might suggest to a certain cloistered cleric.
Oh yeah, maybe. Also,
Maybe.
I love Maynard here. Your body's a deep reservoir of energy is my favorite John Mayer song. Isn't it though?
All right,
Let's
let's
see.
let's check out their curse.
Life energy flows outward from you and connects you to all living things, but you expend your vital essence to do so. This is called the curse of outpouring life. Your presence comforts the ill and injured, causes scars to fade slightly, spurs new growth in plants, and otherwise infuses your surroundings with vitality. I like this because not only could you potentially be a healer of people, but now you're also a healer of the land. You can go touches of druid, you can go touches of cleric, you have flexibility here. Minor curse. As your life force seeps outward, it becomes more difficult to keep your body functioning. Ooh, here we go. It affects effects that restore hit points to you take a status penalty equal to half your level minimum 1 to the number of HP recover. So now we're getting similar to the bones situation where you are harder to heal. However, bones was mostly done medicinally. This appears to be all forms of healing, medicinally or magically. Moderate curse. The flow of life energy away from you can't be reversed. In addition to the effects of your minor curse, you can't be healed by magical effects originating from the creatures. You cannot be healed at all by the heal spell. That
From other
sucks.
people, though. From other people.
Fair enough. It does specify other creatures, so you could in theory heal yourself. However, if you are unconscious, magical effects can restore you to 1 HP, but no higher. That's not better. You are affected normally by healing elixirs, potions, and other items. Okay, so you can...
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the meat and potatoes. When you cast heal, you roll a d12 instead of a d8. Whenever you finish casting a non-cantrip spell, you restore hit points equal to the spell level of your choice of either one target of the spell or the creature nearest to you. You can't heal yourself in this way, though. The healing has the healing, necromancy, and positive traits, as well as the tradition trait of the spell. So the moderate curse, again, this is all about being the healer. And as a cleric, you can take a feat that lets your healing dice become a d10 instead of a d8. That's a feat, though. This is an ability, a passive ability, that gives you a d12, and every time you cast a non-healing... Wait, hold on. Anytime you cast a healing spell, you then can have a secondary heal effect on another target. Either the one you've already casted on, so a secondary heal by a product, or someone within range. So it's amazing for healing others. You're kind of boned for yourself. So the major curse. Life energy tears through you to empower your magic. Some of your spells carry positive energy with them. Each time you use a spell slot to cast a 5th level or higher spell that takes 2 or more actions to cast, you disperse positive energy in a 30-foot burst with the effects of a 3-action heal spell with a level 4 lower than the spell you cast. That's fine. This healing occurs immediately after you finish casting a spell. You don't benefit from this healing, though. Instead, you lose double the number of hit points rolled? Why? It was so good, and then it got so bad.
Once again, resource management. And I also want to point out, as Mater posted, I'm just trying to imagine how insane the feats are going to be to make up for this.
Yeah, Malice has written a pretty sweet check, and I'm not going to call you on that because I trust you, Malice. These sheets are going to be awesome because I know you're smarter than me. So all I'm saying is this: I'm excited, Malice. I'm excited. Okay,
right.
So we got the lore mystery and the Tempest mystery. Let's knock these out. Let's skip all the lore or the fluff and go straight to the benefits.
Wait, what?
Oh, we're going to skip the fluff and go straight to the mystery benefits.
Okay, the lore benefit is for you hold more mystical knowledge within you than most. You have 1 additional spell in your repertoire for each level you can cast. More spells, always good. Yeah. Trained skill is occultism and 1 lore skill of your choice. Granted cantrip is read aura. Your revelation spells are initial, brain drain, advanced lore, assets lore, and greater dread secret. and your related domains are knowledge and truth. I actually read this lore mystery, and I think this is actually my favorite of all the mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you have the curse of torrential knowledge.
Torrential.
Torrential knowledge. See, you have a link to true divine knowledge, but your mortal mind struggles to process and act on what you know. Loose materials around you, such as dust, grains of rice, and droplets of water, slowly shift to form strange runes or faint, indescribable writing. And sometimes you speak unintelligible truth or statements in unknown languages without realizing it. I love that flavor. I really love
That's
that
a lot
flavor.
of fun.
But
And
minor
you could be an
curse.
oracle. Yeah, keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Minor curse. You get a -4 penalty to initiative as trying to process a surge of information about what's happening around you slows your ability to respond to it. That's actually not as bad as curses go.
Yeah, especially if you're a caster,
Yeah.
and as a healer caster, you don't want to go first.
Yeah.
Because what's the point? You want to go
Yeah.
at the end of the round to heal away all the bad stuff. I like that,
Yeah.
actually.
Moderate curse is the flow of information through your mind grows. The attention you divert to the process of huge index of information means you are always flat-footed. At the start of each of your turns, you automatically make one check to recall knowledge as a free action. This uses a skill of your choice that has a recall knowledge action, resulting to using a result equal to 10 plus your proficiency bonus in that skill with no other bonuses, penalties, or modifier. Once again, not too bad. Especially also, you're caster. You're in the back of the line casting spells, so don't have to be too worried
Yeah.
about being flat-footed.
It's interesting, yeah. Keep going. I'll put my thoughts in after this.
Major curse. The massive flow of information clouding your mind overwhelms your ability to communicate with others. You can understand all languages, but you can't speak, use logistic effects, or otherwise communicate with your allies. If you cast a spell with a verbal component, you must succeed a DC 5 flat check, or that spell is lost. You gain a +4 status bonus on saving throws against logistics effects.
Linguistics, yeah.
Linguistics, that's right.
It's weird. I don't know how many spells or abilities have linguistic effects. Like, I imagine it's like a silent spell or like a befuddled spell. This one's weird. I feel like this is like one of the safest penalty versus like risk versus rewards.
And
Also, I feel like
the combination of the flavor for it is really good.
yeah, I feel like the moderate curse though stands out to me as better than the major curse because you get a free action to use any skill that has a recall knowledge ability to it. There's a lot. And it's treated as being taken a 10. It basically treats it as an assurance. So you get a free 10 plus your training, your skill level, to basically inform your teammates of meta knowledge about whatever it is they're fighting or whatever it is they're doing. It's really, really cool. The major curse is odd though because this is coming from a place of ignorance. I don't know how actually useful this is. You can no longer really talk to anyone, but you get huge bonuses against being messed up with.
But also, you can also refocus and mitigate your curse down.
True. You can kind of help with the initiative problems. I don't know. I'll say it's not bad.
Yeah. Sydney posted, Michael, you're playing this class in the one shots. What did you choose? Actually, I'm playing my first character is a summoner, but my archetype is the Oracle. And yeah, actually, I am doing a lore Oracle.
Nice. I was going to say if we wanted to like kind of bridge the gap a bit as to what gods would go great with this from the Astrogenicon, one of the major pantheons. We have Iodex, we have the god of law and judgment and wisdom.
And Lons.
We have and Lons, get off them. We also have Leofer, the goddess of the great library and the keeper and writer of stories. And then we have Falkland, her twin brother, who is of course the curator to the great library and is the god of words, definitions, and basically like what words mean as opposed to using them to tell stories. He's very much a brain type. So yeah, you could totally be like an Oracle of Falkland and just constantly be inundated with useless, trivial facts about words and details all around you. I think that could be really fun. Also, I like to call this ADHD the class. This is my brain every day. And I finally would get superpowers for my brain.
All right, let's move on to Tempest. Take it away, PJ.
Knocking out. My pleasure. The last mystery. Tempest. You can see perfectly through wind and water, and you send electrical charges through both air and water. You never take penalties to perception from wind, rain, fog, or other precipitation, or from looking through water or being underwater. And such conditions don't cause anything to be concealed for you. When you deal physical damage with a non-cantrip air or water spell, you will deal an additional 1 electric damage per spell level. That's kind of fun. Makes a really good caster class out the gate. You're trained in nature. Your cantrip is Electric Arc. Get that infinite power going on. Your revelation spells are Tempest Touch, Thunder Burst, and Tempest Form. And your related domains are air and water. You are definitely a living storm at this point.
Or Storm from Marvel.
Exactly. Or Storm from Marvel. I think Tempest Form you actually take the form of an elemental, but I think she does that too at some point.
Maybe.
Minor Curse. Curse of the Perpetual Storm. An aura of a whirling storm whips up in a 5-foot emanation around you and your space. The aura puts out small non-magical fires 1 round after they're lit or brought into your area. Electric energy builds up within your storm, turning you into a lightning rod. You gain a weakness to electricity and electricity spells or effects that have additional effects for a creature wearing or holding metal treat you as though you're wearing metal. This is a weird curse.
Yeah, I just thought of something. You become Benjamin Franklin.
Oh my God! What if that's all he was? Benjamin Franklin, Oracle of the Storm. So what's weird about the minor curse is that you get kind of you. It's the only time I've ever seen someone get a weakness to something they specialize in.
Yeah.
Very weird. Moderate curse. Your minor curse's aura is now a 10-foot emanation and carries rain on the winds. The whirling wind imposes a -2 penalty to range attack rolls using physical ammunition that target you or originate from you. So crossbows are no-go. Your weakness to electricity increases to 5 or half your level, whichever's greater, but torrential rain grants you an equal amount of fire resistance.
Risk versus reward. Risk versus reward.
Yeah, and remember, the feats, PJ, the feats. Major curse. Your minor curse's aura expands to a 15-foot emanation and grows stronger. High winds blowing outward in the aura impede creatures' progress. The aura is difficult terrain for large and smaller creatures on the ground. Not bad, especially when you keep them at range. And huge or smaller flying creatures. That's awesome. Screw them for flying. You aren't affected by this difficult terrain. Hey, there we go. Electricity arcing through you becomes dangerous. Any creature that touches you, including with a touch spell or melee attack, takes 1d6 electrical damage. Finally, a combat casting curse that's worth it.
Oh,
I like
dude,
that.
PJ, I just realized something from Edge of Legends.
Yeah?
A certain half-elf with an axe multi-classes into this.
Not gonna lie. When I was thinking about that as I was reading it, I was like, Larian. Okay, really fast, I want to just kind of blitz through these features because we spent a lot of time on the mysteries, which again, the mysteries is the core of this class. Everything else is like a combination of cleric and sorcerer. So I'm going to blitz through these. Your oracle spells per day go 1 to level 10. 10th level spells, by the way, if you don't know, are 9th level spells and other additions, but better. You get oracle feats at 2, skill feats at 2, general feats at 3, signature spells at 3. We've covered that in other things. Recap basically lets you cast your signature spells spontaneously at higher levels without having to prepare them or work for it. Skill increase at 3, ability boost at 5, like everyone else has. Ancestry feat at 5, ancestry feat at 5. Expert spellcaster, your DC's expert, hoorah. Resolve. Will saves increase to master, and you get a crit success instead of a normal success. Alertness, your proficiency for perception is now expert. Major curse, we already went over that. Weapon expertise at the 11th level. Light armor expertise at 13. Lightning reflexes at 13, which means your reflexes are now expert. Weapon specialization at 13, so when you hit something, you're going to do a little more damage. Master spellcaster, your DCs are now master level, which is faster than other caster classes we've seen. 17th level, extreme curse. This is going to be fun. You have mastered a perilous balance, the conflicting divine powers and mystery, gaining the power to change your fate, restraining both body and soul. When you cast a revelation spell while affected by your major curse, your curse intensifies to an extreme effect instead of just overwhelming you. Extreme curse! All mysteries share the same effect of this extreme curse. When affected by extreme curse, you become doomed to.
Whew.
Doomed 2, by the way, also affects your rate of dying. It makes it that much faster. Or increases your doom condition by 2 if you were already doomed. Hey, do you want to die right away? Get doomed 4. Even if you have Die Hard, I'm pretty sure you're screwed. Moving on. All mysteries share the same effects for their extreme curse. Once every 10 minutes, when you fail an attack roll, skill, or perception check, or saving throw, you can re-roll it and take the second result. So, okay, you're doomed and you're screwed, but you got advantage.
Yeah.
The re-roll has the fortune trait and doesn't require you to spend an action, meaning you can just use the re-roll even if you can't act. These effects are in addition to all the effects of your major curse, and they can't be removed by any means until you refocus or reduce your curse to its minor effect. If you cast a revelation spell while under the effects of this extreme curse, you are overwhelmed by a curse, and you remain doomed to, even if you refocus. Additionally, if you spend at least 3 focus points before you refocus, you recover 3 focus points back instead of 1. More risk, more reward, really rewards the player for dropping those focus points. It's difficult. It's difficult to say. Greater resolve. Your unbelievable training grants you mental resiliency. Your will saves are now legendary. I think it's the first bare bones legendary I've seen in a while. When you roll a will save, you get critical success instead of a normal success. You can't crit fail, you get a fail instead. Legendary spellcaster, your DCs for spellcasting at 19th level are legendary. And here is the capstone feature. Oracular Clarity. I'm going to butcher it to the ground. You want to read this one, Michael, since I've been burning through these?
You now fully grasp the nature of the divine power behind your mystery, allowing you to work magic akin to miracles. Add 2 common 10th level divine spells to your repertoire. You gain a single 10th level spell slot you can use to cast one of these 2 spells using the Oracle spellcasting. That's good. You don't gain more 10th level spells as you level up, unlike other spell slots, and you can't use 10th level slots with abilities that give you more spell slots or let you cast spells without expending spell slots. You can take the Oracular Province feat to gain a second slot.
Okay. So here's what that means. To put it into perspective, if Wish is a 9th level spell, 10th level spell is Wish with like if Wish was doing push-ups.
Wish heightened.
Yeah. And this allows you to have 2 10th level spells known. You can only cast 1 because they're god level spells, but you can take a feat. It's even making this like rules as written canonical. You can now get a feat that gives you 2 10th level spell slots a day. That may be the payoff. I don't know if other spellcasters have this class. I haven't looked that far into their casting potential. If this is the only one that has it, I'm here for that. I'm here for that reason to really stick with raw mechanics, Oracle v someone else. 2 10th level spells a day.
Maynard
That's awesome.
Posted up, so up to 2 more 10th level spell slots.
Yeah, I think it's total 2 spell slots. I don't think it's 2 more.
I think you could make it to 3 even, actually, with a feat that I mentioned.
Maybe, but it says here that you can know 2 10th level spells, but you only get a 10th level spell slot to cast the 2 that you know. The Oracle Providence, or Oracular Providence, I should say, gives you a second slot. So if you take that feat, you get 2 10th level spells a day. Just Maximum of 2.
And
But
also,
that's still really good.
2 may not sound that much, but seriously, a 10th level spell is like crazy powerful. And you gain that after a night's sleep, after a
Yeah,
long rest.
imagine casting Wish on steroids twice a day. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Oracle feats. Let's pound these out, and please chat because I'm excited to see how these feats will adjust what we've just been over in depth as all the mysteries. Glean lore. Feat level 1 is an action. The GM sets the DC for a religion check to understand the information you gain, potentially adjusting the DC to check for topics removed from your mystery. Critical success, you comprehend the lore accurately or gain a useful clue from the divine about your situation. Success, you learn 2 pieces of information about the topic, 1 true, 1 erroneous, but you don't know which one is which. Failure, you recall incorrect information or gain an erroneous or misleading clue. Critical failure, recall 2 pieces, both awful, don't know which one's which. Michael, can you make me host? We're kind of losing the feed a bit. Yeah. Sorry if you're seeing that in the chat or in the show. We apologize. Trying to make a quick change here. I mean, it's okay for a first level feat. Basically, you get some inside information on what's happening.
It's like a modified version of a investigator's ability.
Yeah, and it gives you a bit more like metagaming to it, because like as a DM I can literally say this is what's happening, or this is what's happening, and this is what's happening, and now the table has to argue over which one's right, which one's wrong, and that can be fun.
But anyway,
yeah.
Let's move on to the next one, which is Reach Spell. It's a 1 action feat. You can extend the range of your spells. If the next action used to cast a spell that has a range, increase that spell's range by 30 feet, as is standard for increasing spell ranges. If the spell normally has a range of touch, you extend its range to 30 feet. Pretty basic, but
yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it wouldn't really help the fire domain or fire mystery.
Yeah.
Widen spell. Instead of making it go 30 feet farther, it increases the radius of a burst by 5 feet. Excuse me, and it adds 5 feet to the length of a cone. That's normally 15 feet. And adds 10 feet to the length of a larger cone or line. So basically, it makes your spell about 5 to 10 feet bigger.
Yeah.
In its shape. It's not bad.
Pretty basic.
And now here's
basic.
the thing. It's an action. So if you want to make 1 action to cast a really big fireball, there you go.
Yeah. The next one is Cantrip Expansion. You get a greater understanding of your magic. A greater understanding of your magic broadens your range of simple spells. And because I believe you are considered a spontaneous spellcaster, you actually add 2 additional cantrips from your spell list to your repertoire. That's really nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, also, Malice, thank you for the correction, because I know I was saying, like, I'm not sure about all the casters at 19th level getting the 2 10th level spell slots potentially, and how that might be a really good way to make the Oracle stand out. Malice has corrected me that all spellcasters get similar things at 19th level. I would imagine that they say that, or what they're saying is that it also means that they can get a potential of 2 10th level spells at 20th. So that's nice, certainly nice. Kind of boring. Oh, also Sydney has to run. She's FaceTime with the parents. Always happy to have you lurk in the group. Tell your parents I said hi and have a great convo. I'll see you next time. And that's my way off to Sydney.
Divine Argus.
Divine Aegis. It's a reaction. That's all right. It's a reaction. Trigger. You attempt a saving throw, but you haven't rolled it yet. You summon divine energy to shield yourself, offering protection against other traditions but leaving you exposed to the divine effects. Until the beginning of your next turn, get a +1 circumstance bonus to saving throws against non-divine magical effects, but you also take a -1 circumstance penalty to divine effects. This is the feat also has risk versus reward. The problem with this feat, besides of course the annoyance, is you're going to have to constantly ask your GM, is this a divine spell? is this. It's kind of like when you play an elf in other games, and you constantly have to say, "Is this a charm effect? I'm immune." Like it's not fun, and it asks too much questions of the events.
The next one
Right.
is domain acumen. Every oracle's mystery touches on a divine domain of deities that feel it. You can access that power. Choose one of the domains associated to your mystery for which you don't already have an initial domain spell. You gain an initial domain spell from that domain, which you cast as a revelation spell. It gains the curse-bound trait. You increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1.
I love that. More focus spells, better.
Mm-hmm.
More domain spells, which are really powerful little powers that you get that are really good flavor-wise, more better. So I think for me, it's between cantrip and domain acumen, both awesome. 4th level, Bespell Weapon. It's a free action once a turn. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. By the way, I did not mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I just went, ooh.
I heard a breath and I'm like, no! I jumped.
And also, I tend to breathe. I like breathing. It's a thing, it's a habit that I tend to do.
Look, I took the Oracle curse, the curse of never breathing, so I'm slowly suffocating, but I get plus 12 to religion checks. So, Anyway, Bespelled Weapon, free action, once per turn. If your most recent action was to cast a non-cantrip spell, you can siphon the residual energy of that spell and give yourself an extra 1d6 of damage depending on what that is. I think the Magus has something exactly like this in the Secrets of Magic. So I'm a fan of that.
The playtest, we don't know if it's going to stay around or not, though.
True. We can see it with the Oracle, so that gives me hope, because I really loved it for the mechanical machinations of the Magus. I feel like it's weird for the Oracle. I mean, if you're a battle Oracle, maybe I can see that. Yeah. But overall build, I don't know.
But anyway, moving on, the next level 4 feet is Divine Access. Your ability to tap into divine magic surpasses the spells traditionally available to you, the divine spell list. Choose one deity who grants one of your mysteries granted domains. Add up to 3 cleric spells of your choice granted by that deity to your spell list. You can select from these spells when you add or swap spells in your spell repertoire. That's not too bad.
Pretty good.
The special is...
I like that because it gives you more variety.
The special is you can select this. You can select this feat more than once. You can't choose the same spell more than once, but you can choose a different domain or a different deity with the same domain you've previously selected with this feat. So this one stacks.
That's really cool. I'm sure. Yeah, what I like about this is it goes back to the idea that an oracle is not bound by just one god, but a greater idea shared by gods.
That's you know what it's kind of starting to kind of remind me of? It sounds like they're Indiana Jones if he was a cleric. Kind of sounds like that to me.
Interesting.
He takes knowledge from all different sorts of cultures and whatever he needs, whatever works. I can totally
see that.
Yeah. But anyway,
I can definitely see that. Yeah.
The next one is Vision of Weakness. Why don't you take it out away, PJ?
Sure. I was just about to rip into that. You can call open divine insights to single out your foe's weak points. You learn the Vision of Weakness revelation spell and increase your numbers of focus points in your pool by 1. So you get a really cool buff spell. It looks like it's hyper specialized, so it could be worth it. Yep. It's on the fence.
The next one is Advanced Revelation. You have to have the initial revelation spell. You learn an advanced revelation spell associated with your mystery. Increase the number of focus points of your focus pool by 1.
This basically just lets you tap into something that I hate things like this. I would much rather have the advanced revelation spell be something you get at a certain level as opposed to something you have to take a feat for.
Yeah.
I don't like that mechanic, but unless 6th level is a dead level, then maybe that's just the best you can get. Spiritual sense. You have a vague connection to the ethereal plane that enables you to notice spirits. While you're exploring but not searching, the GM rolls a secret check for you to find haunts that usually require searching, as well as spirits, creatures on the ethereal plane, and beings made entirely of spiritual essence, such as celestials, fiends, and monitors. You can also potentially notice ethereal creatures and spirits inside solid objects, provided they're within 30 feet of you. This applies while searching, seeking, and on the automatic secret check you gain while exploring, even if you aren't searching. You can still notice spirits only in a successful check, and you can't see them if there are more than 5 feet. 5 feet inside an object. Oh, okay. 5 feet inside of an object, when you notice a creature with your spiritual sense, you can also learn its location, making it hidden to you if it had been undetected. Fun, but useless.
But I will say this, flavor-wise, to do with this, I just realized, flavor-wise, this feat is if one of those paranormal investigators on Sci-Fi Channel or something, you have your own sci-fi show that's your paranormal investigator.
Yeah. Hey, demons, it's me, your boy, the Oracle.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we get steady spellcasting?
All right, steady spellcasting. Confident in your technique, you don't easily lose your concentration when you cast a spell. If a reaction would disrupt your spellcasting action, attempt a DC 15 flat check. If you succeed, your action isn't disrupted.
That's a really high flat check.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You're at level 6 though. You're level 6 though, so.
True, but it's not about your bonus. It's your flat die roll. You have to roll the die and get a 15 up in order to not lose the spell. True. I think the reason why they made these revelations as feats is because I think a lot of the feats at these levels where the revelation spells are kind of dead levels, and I think they're putting these in to kind of sweeten the pot. Mm-hmm. 8th level, Debilitating Dichotomy. Love the name. You give others a glimpse of the impossible conflicts and unchecked power that courses through your body. What a metal sentence. You learn the Debilitating Dichotomy Revelation spell and increase your number of focus points pool by 1. Keep in mind, you can only ever have a maximum of 3. So if you're getting all these really cool focus spells that also increase your pool, you might tap out your pool really quickly, but still get really cool focus powers. So just weigh that in mind.
Mm-hmm. The next one is Re-Disaster. You spend 10 minutes and open yourself to the divine mysteries of the world, peering into the most sinister portents of the future. You gain the effects of augury, except when you learn only about the dangers ahead. Any results of, real? Are instead nothing, and results of real and woe are instead woe. You are legendary in religion, and you only take 1 minute to Re-Disaster.
Okay, so if you are legendary in religion, this is literally 1 minute of time. That's really fast.
Yeah. Basically, you can read tea leaves.
Yeah, you can read tea leaves, but what's interesting about it is that it's only here to find the negative. Mm-hmm. So you're never going to be told anything positive, which I guess is fine if you think about it. Like, why would you do
this? Like, honestly, this feat would be great flavored with stuff like that.
Yeah, because if you know or if you don't know, there's only 3 reads you get. There's wheel, and woe, and woe. So good and bad, or just bad. Mm-hmm. So what's great about this is it's really only there to tell you if something bad is going to be happening. Not bad. Anyway, moving on. 10th level. There's that word again. Yep. Oracular warning. I think that's oracular. Anyway, it's a free action. You're about to roll initiative. Free action. You have a flash of insight about impending danger related to one ally, and you can shout or gesture to warn that ally of a threat a moment before it materializes. One ally of your choice can roll twice for initiative and use the better result. This is a fortune effect. If you are legendary in religion, you can receive 2 visions and can warn 2 allies. If you are momentarily thrown off by the divine insight, however, and you must roll twice and take the worst result. This is a misfortune effect. The 2 effects are tied together. If you would avoid the misfortune effect for any reason, or if any of your allies would negate their fortune effect, This does nothing. Depending on whether you use gestures or call out, this action gains either the visible or auditory traits respectively. I kind of like this because, again, as the Oracle, you don't really need to be going first. But this is a huge buff for 1 or 2 players to then have a potential to start combat. And that could be great for the Rogue to get sneak attack, or great for Barbarian or Paladin to kind of create the front line and start a defensive position.
It's kind of
really
like
nice.
that. It's kind of like that TV flavor wise. It's kind of like that TV show Angel. Do you remember that one? The spinoff of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. And they have first they had Doyle, who kind of saw the future, and then later on he passes that ability to Cordelia. It's basically you see the immediate future. You're not sure what it is, but it's the future. It might be dangerous or great or something.
Mm-hmm. I do like the mechanical benefits of seeing into the future without just being like this over-powerful mind reader. I mean, maybe at 20th level it'll get that way, but that being said, quicken casting. Michael Powell.
Quicken casting is a free action. You can do it once per day. If your next action is to cast a cantrip or a spell that is at least 2 levels lower than the highest level spell you can cast, reduce the number of actions to cast it by 1. This could especially
that's not bad. I think that might.
This could only be used on cantrip or
that's
spell.
Not bad.
Yeah, this could only be used on a cantrip or spell from the class matching the one you gained this feat from.
Yeah, so I think that's a special note added into to your resource, because there are other feats that let you take from the cleric.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a brief errata, because I think they want this to be focused more on the oracle spells as opposed to, like, you know, cleric spells and sorcerer spells and everything else you can take. I like that. I think it's really cool. I think it's probably it's a free action to just make to quicken the spell. Surging Might. 1 action. Ooh, it's a meta magic. Mm-hmm. With a complex gesture, you focus the divine power of your spell to overcome the enemy's resistances. If the next action you use is to cast a spell, that spell ignores an amount of the target's resistance equal to your level against the following types of damage: chaotic, evil, good, lawful, negative, and positive. This applies to all damage the spell deals, including persistent damage and damage caused by an ongoing effect of the spell, such as positive energy within a field of life. This doesn't cause the spell to ignore immunities, only resistances. That's interesting. It's good, but it's very specific.
Yeah. Once again, it's one of those hyper, like, specific spells that you're going to do. But anyway, domain...
I can...
Go ahead.
Hmm? I was just gonna say, I can see Surging Might be really useful for the fire mystery, with all those issues that the fire one had, and also the Tempest one too. But I'm so sorry. Please take it away with domain fluency.
Yes, domain fluency. You have to have initial domain spell first, which you're definitely gonna have. You command a deep understanding of the divine's domains related to your mystery. Choose one of the domains associated to your mystery, which you have an initial domain spell. You gain an advanced domain spell from that domain, which you cast as a revelation spell, causing it to gain the curse-bound trait. You increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. They have a lot of focus spells.
Yeah. They do, which I like, because it sounds like they're going to need... all the spells they can get. Maynard for the one asks, like, what's the point of the Oracle? So I think if I had to really tap into something here, it's that, like, what's the difference between the Oracle vis-a-vis the Sorcerer? So the Sorcerer does get some powers and benefits from their bloodline, but it stops at that first level. You get access to certain spell lists depending on your bloodline, blah, 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 blah. But I think, and I have to double check because it's been a long time. It's been about a year since I looked at the Sorcerer. But I believe they're still limited as to how their bloodline grows. The Oracle does get buffs as they level up, though, regardless, like, beyond that. Of course, it comes with these drawbacks. I think ultimately the reason to play an Oracle over Sorcerer would be to have all those powers and benefits of the Sorcerer applied to a Cleric position with a heavy, heavy potential for role play and storytelling. So it really comes down to a personal choice as to how much you want to play the character or how much you want to roll the character. I really, it's a thing. I can't.
Yeah.
So last time we checked, we were at we just did domain fluency.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I wanted to just.
Oh, it's all right.
Because like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Paizo made this for a reason, and like
Yeah.
it may not be super shiny, super awesome, but it's still got a lot of really cool potential. Greater Revelation. You learn a Greater Revelation spell focused with your mystery. Increase the number of focus points by 1. So if you don't like domain fluency and you really want that Greater Revelation spell, which is probably going to be very powerful, go with that.
All right, next one is Magic Sense. You have a
Okay.
literal sixth sense for ambient magic in your vicinity. You can sense the presence of magical auras as though you were always using a first level detect magic spell. Ooh. This detect magic in your field of vision only. When you seek, you gain the benefits of a third level detect magic spell on the things you see. In addition to the normal benefits of seeking, you can turn this sense off and on with a free action at the start or end of your turn. The special is this feat has a trait corresponding to the tradition of spells you cast. So it'll be divine. And honestly, this, yeah, you basically have Batman's detective sense, but for magic.
Yeah, I gotta admit, this is really cool. It may suck though because you can only sense divine magic, but depending on the world you're in, that could be and for free. That's the thing to keep in mind. You're always functioning between the first and third level of detect magic, and you can, and if you want to, you can turn it off. It's really cool. Forestall curse. I'm sorry. Did you have something else you want to say?
Oh, no.
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
good. I was just breathing. Let me breathe, man.
No, you're not supposed to breathe. God damn it. Anyway, 14th level, Forestall Curse. It's a one action, can be done once a day. You learn to forestall the effects of your curse somewhat. If the next action you use is to cast a revelation spell, the severity of your curse doesn't increase. So that's not too bad. You can spend all 3 actions to cast a revelation spell, and then for the next turn, you don't suffer. Sounds like you don't suffer any increase to your curse. So you're still cursed, but I guess you don't get, like, when you cast a focus spell or focus power, your curse intensifies. So you get this ability, and for 1 round, once a day, that doesn't happen.
It's basically it's an insurance. It's a safe spell. It's a safe spell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next one is
Also, huge shout out to. Oh, sorry about that. This is really important. Huge shout out to Mr. Meharo. Thank you for joining us again in the chat, and happy 1-year anniversary with your wife. I was actually at your wedding. That was a year ago today. My mind is blown,
Congrats.
dude. Happy anniversary, man. Congrats.
All right, mysterious repertoire.
Oh, still detects. Oh, thank you, Malice. I'm so sorry. Malice did a correction. It still detects all magic. It just gets a divine trait.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Malice. Because I was reading that
makes it
in the
super better.
errata,
That makes
and the
it better
errata
then.
made it sound like.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much, because that is a juicy detail. Mysterious repertoire.
Mysterious repertoire. Your mystery holds unknowable depths of magic that's not always associated with the divine. You can have 1 spell in your spell repertoire that's not on the divine spell list. In addition to spells you've added from your spell list from feats such as divine access. You cast that spell as a divine spell. You could swap which spell you add from which tradition as you could any other oracle spell. But you can't use this feat to have more than 1 spell from another tradition in your spell repertoire at the same time. Divine Fireball!
Okay. Yeah, oh, good. That sounds awesome. I would love to have a Divine Fireball. Okay, it's okay. I think it's a really good way, especially for, like, man, I have this really cool build. I just need this 1 occult spell, but I can't get it, or this really awesome, like, primal spell, like my fireballs, whatever. This is a good way to get that. and I think that could really help some of these builds, like the Tempest, the Flame, maybe even, maybe even Cosmos to a degree. With a cult
Definitely
magic. I
lore.
think that could be
Definitely
useful.
lore.
Definitely lore too. Yeah, come to think of this, lore is a really good safe caster build.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really, really good. Diverse mystery. Prerequisites, you had to have taken the advanced revelation. Spell power, focus power. You have broadened your understanding of the divine and can tap into the wonders of a different mystery. So, hold up. Select one revelation spell from a mystery other than your own. Oh, okay. You can choose only an initial revelation spell or an advanced revelation spell. Not bad. When you cast this revelation spell, you gain the effects of the minor curse from that mystery in addition to the normal curse effects you gain from casting a revelation spell. This additional minor curse effect remains until your next day preparations. Any ability that lets you cast a revelation spell without increasing the severity of your curse also prevents you from gaining this additional curse effect. Okay, you can't cast your chosen revelation spell if any of the following conditions are true. Its mystery's curse effects directly conflict with or negate the effects of your own curse, and the curse would have no effect on you. For example, removing an ability from your original mystery that you lack. Or, either of these criteria would be met once you finish casting the spell. So it lets you double dip, but very, very, very specific. I don't know.
Next one is Portentous Spell. Your spellcasting is rife with strange lights, esoteric gestures, and other captivating effects that befuddle your foes. AKA, that's just a fancy way of saying adding BS. If the next action you use is to cast a spell, any creature that attempts to use a reaction triggered by your cast a spell activity takes a -2 circumstance penalty to attack rolls and skill checks rolled as part of the reaction. In addition, the spell includes a spell attack roll or requires a saving throw. Creatures you hit or that fails their saves are fascinated with you until the start of your turn. Sounds like a bard feat, honestly.
It kind of does. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I love the idea of getting like a free mind control effect after a spell that you cast. You know, you cast like a giant healing spell or maybe a giant attack spell, and then you get that little cherry
Oh
on
my
top
god,
at the
I
end.
just realized Awake of Flavor is just like different ways of flipping off the bird.
Oh, I love that. Especially if you're like playing the Tengu here, you're literally flipping off the bird.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Maynard and Malice have a conversation, and I love it. It lets you stack curses, which is what you want, obviously. And Malice makes a very good point. That's why you'd use forestall curse. So now what you have to really do, and Michael said this best, I think, at the very beginning, is weigh your resources. You know, you're double dipping into curses and curse powers, but now you're also having to kind of suddenly pop your cooldown to forestall a curse. It's very heavy, big brain energy, and I have not had enough coffee today for that myself. Um, Blaze of Revelation. That sounds really cool. Your mind and body can, for a short time, withstand the devastation of overdrawing your curse. When you would become overwhelmed by your curse, you can forestall the effects for up to 1 minute. Not bad. That's almost an entire fight. On each of your turns during that time, you can cast one revelation spell granted by your mystery, but not domain, or spells from a diverse mystery, or any other revelation spells you gain from other abilities. So, you can cast this one revelation spell without spending focus points or taking any further negative effects. At the end of the minute, the durations of any revelation spells you cast during that time end. You take the normal effects from being overwhelmed by your curse, and you must attack. Oh, God. Like, I know at 18, this is a very different metric. At DC 18, this is plausible, but when you do this ability, you have to pass a DC 40 fortitude save, a DC 40. And here's what happens when you roll the DC 40. Critical success, you're not affected. So that means you either have to get a D20 or you gotta make a 50. Success, you are drained 2 and can't reduce or remove this condition until your next preparations. So go ahead and play a Bones Oracle, screw this up, be at a drain 4, have a bad time. Fifth failure. You're drained 4 and can't reduce or remove this condition until your next preparations.
I mean, if you're already trained 4, you can't be trained any further.
Oh, but it gets worse. Critical failure? 2
Was
words.
it Uber failure at that point?
You die. At level 18, you do take Blaze Revelation and basically go Super Saiyan for a minute and start casting spells willy-nilly, like a caster should do. If you crit fail your DC 40 Fortitude save, you die.
Seriously, that feat is, yeah, the epitome of risk versus reward.
God, it really is. I mean, granted, again, I have to give this class a lot of credit. It's really hard to get into, but there is just so much there's so much role playing and mechanical gambling to go through that it can be very exciting to play, but I can see how if you are not signing up for an immediate demise or failure, you may not have fun.
Yeah,
also,
you're literally cursed. You're like, this is a literal cursed class.
Yeah, Malice put it best, Death Blossom. That's right, You're spinning around just going, die, die, die. And then, God forbid, there's any single, tracer out of reach just going, dead. Cheers, love. And then that's that.
Right. Next one is Divine Effusion. The power of your mystery surges through you like a font of divine energy, even when your own magic dwindles. Twice per day, you can cast a spell after you run out of spell slots of the appropriate spell level. The 2 spells you cast with this feat must be different spell levels.
Okay, that's actually really good. That's really good. You run out of spells? No, you don't. Once a day. Twice per day, even better. You can cast a spell when you run out of spell slots at the appropriate spell level you're doing them at.
Once again, insurance.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I've wanted. Now we get to the level 20 stuff. Let's really, let's see what we got. Level 20. Mystery Conduit. The power of your mystery enables you to cast more than just revelation spells. When you cast a spell 5th level or lower that has no duration, instead of spending a spell slot, you can advance the effects of your oracular curse in the same manner as when you cast a revelation spell. A spell cast in this way gains the curse-bound trait. So, if I'm reading this correctly, you're using a focus spell, and I might not be reading this right. You're using a focus point to cast a spell 5th level or lower. So it's like an alternative spell slot, and you still get cursed by it. Okay, maybe. I'm not... I don't know how I feel about that.
Also, we've been using the term curse-bound for a while now. I just want to explain what curse-bound is. Curse-bound is spells with this trait increases the severity of your oracular curse when cast. Usually only revelation spells have this trait. You can't cast a curse-bound spell if you don't have an oracular curse. So basically it just makes your curse stronger.
So basically it's an effect that means only clerics can use, only oracles can use this, and doing so is the whole intensifying of their curse. Makes sense. You want to get Oracular Providence?
All right, Oracular Providence. And also, I think this is one of the only classes that has 3 level 20 spells? 3 level 20
so far.
feats. But anyway, Oracular Providence.
I think it's the first one we covered, that's for sure.
Yeah. Your mystery grants you access to deep reserves of truly miraculous divine power. You gain an additional 10th level spell slot. That's good.
This is the thing that we saw at the beginning.
Yep. That's the one we were talking about before with that mystery. With the capstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I believe Malice confirmed that other casters do have the potential to getting a feat like this. So if you are used to playing a character level 20, I don't know too many people who are used to that, then you can kind of understand going to this Oracle, you're going to have a spell list very similar to a cleric or a wizard.
Yeah.
Paradoxal Mystery, the last choice for the Oracle.
Hopefully this is going to be one of those really, really good ones. The whole reason you want to take this class.
Because right now, having a second level 10th spell slot is juicy, but let's see. Prerequisite, get greater revelation. The truest depths of your divine mystery are fathomless and contradictory, granting you changing powers that even you can barely begin to fathom. Each day during your daily preparations, choose one basic or advanced domain spell from any domain in the core rulebook, or another domain to which you have access, or any initial or advanced revelation spell from another mystery. You gain that spell as a revelation spell until your next daily preparations, and it has the curse-bound trait. 1 second. So I guess this is cool because this gives you the most flexibility for this type of powerful spell power kind of thing. It lets you reach across the aisle in any direction, take any one spell within a limited but not strict sense, and use it as if you're using a normal focus power without, I imagine, added negatives, but still the standard negatives. It's okay.
It's all right.
It's nice.
It's all right. It's all right.
I really did. Yeah. I think Oracular Providence, just so you can cast a 10th level spell a second time a day, is really worth it. All in all, I gotta be honest.
Yeah. So
I don't like it.
What's your final verdict on the Oracle class?
Oh man. So my final verdict on the Oracle class, I think, is there's like 2 or 3 mysteries that have the potential to be actually rewarding for the player, more fun than it is harm. And as a player, that's kind of what you want, right? Like you want to have fun playing what you're doing. I feel like everything else about this class is designed for what we in the LARP world called suffer puppets and trauma mongers. These are people that get off on having a rough life. And if you want to roleplay that or roleplay because of that, hey, chase the rainbow, do you, dog? But I don't think it's fun, to be, unless you really want to play up that tortured mechanic for like a one-shot, say. Mm-hmm. For a one-shot, this is awesome. But for a campaign trying to get to 20, you're going to be working uphill the entire time.
My thoughts on this is, once again, this is for people who are really good at resource management. They're pretty good at metagaming. Also, I want to say throw in a little bit of rules loring, and just knows how to take advantage of rules as written.
Yeah, if you definitely like, I don't want to say get off because it might be kind of crude, but if some of the things that you take joy out of is constantly balancing and constantly making sacrifices like with focus, I can see it being fun. I can see the act of playing this class would be fun, but I don't know. It may be fun, but it will not be rewarding. You know what I mean?
I will say this though, flavor-wise, this is an awesome class flavor-wise.
Agreed. Hands down, there are some amazing, fun things that you can play off of and tap into. 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking one-shots are great for this, because you can play a Halloween one-shot with the Oracle, have awesome storytelling.
I'm also wondering, honestly, I kind of want to say that I'm going to say next for a video we're going to do on archetypes. But you know what? I'm going to say here as well. Mm-hmm. Oracles as a archetype is actually not bad. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something there. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later.
Oracle.
Speaking of.
Oh,
no, we're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say for Oracles, I kind of feel this would have worked a lot better as a specific archetype class, honestly, instead of a full class.
Yeah, I need to look deeper at the Oracle archetype multi-classing feats because, of course, the multi-classing feats are really fun,
Hmm.
but they also hinder you to how much of class you really get access
Yeah.
to. So if there is a way to build like for example, a barbarian oracle or a champion oracle, there could be some really fun um, cross builds going on, and maybe we'll
Honestly, I
discuss
can
that.
see
But speaking of builds,
Oracle special
mhm,
multi-classing with investigator.
I like that. And again, I think the biggest gift the Oracle gives is a chance for fun, creative expression and really good role play with like your backstory, what afflictions you're being traumatized with, and what the world around you looks like and has to change because of your presence.
Hmm.
All that is super well written,
Yeah.
super thought out. But
As
dear
yeah,
God, the mechanics suck.
yeah. As Maynard posted, gonna be a nod from me, dog. Out of 10.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you on that one myself.
So
Maybe
and
I'll play one for stuffs and giggles. Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today on At the Table, where we did a deep dive on the first spoopy class on our list of Halloween classes from the Advanced Player's Guide. We discussed the Oracle. There's a lot of really cool potential there, a lot of fluff and really fun storytelling, but maybe it doesn't live up to the fun or hype that you wanted or that you could get from it. So take a look at the class and let us know in the chat or let us know in the comments what you feel about the Oracle. We would love to discuss this character class with you. And as always, Michael Powell, please tell them who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
hey everybody, I am Michael Powell. You can find me all over the internet, such as my Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter page. They're all at Mr. Kapow. That's MrKapao. Or follow me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff. And I also recently started a new YouTube channel called Fantastic Tales of Adventure. So if you get a chance, subscribe and check that out. Oh, and on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Toyzilla Network channel here on Twitch, I co-host Toyzilla Live. It's a toy and nostalgia show. So where do we find you, PJ?
Oh, that's a very good question. My name is PJ McGaw, and you can find me everywhere on the internet as at PJ.McGaw. Facebook, Instagram, come and give me a look. I like new friends. I'm never on Twitter. Don't look for me on Twitter. But when I'm not here, my man Michael Powell at the table, doing At the Table on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I'm the GM of the flagship show for Nat20 Productions, official, called Edge of Legend. And for the entire month, this spoopy, awesome month, we are doing a series of one-shots for Halloween. Learn about the nightmare of Daltonshire and the cosmic horror gods that have been hidden from the world until now. So we look forward to seeing you this Wednesday. There'll be sound effects, there'll be music, and we're going to make it a really good time. I hope you get scared. I hope you love the show. Refer a friend. And when I'm not here on Wednesdays, on Friday, I am on Life Action Roleplay with our special guest for tomorrow, Ryan Omega, who is the GM of Life Action Roleplay, as we play the high school D&D kids that go off to college. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you Friday, and I look forward to seeing you next week here at the table.
Bye, guys. Oh, and go vote.
Go vote!